Good morning everyone. I am Shiva Kalyani, guest DL in Physics, TTWRDC Women's Damapeta. Today we will discuss about the topic is lasers and its applications. Here we will see lasers and its application. This is our topic. Here L means light, A means amplification, S means stimulated, E means emission, R means radiation. So finally, light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation is the abbreviation of the lasers. We will see this picture. These are the colorful lights. Green, light green, thick green and red, blue, something like. So each and every light having a single wavelength. So this is lasers. And in this lasers having given some topics, so we will discuss one by one. First of all, we will discuss introduction of laser, then after principle of laser, third one kinds of lasers, fourth one construction and working of ruby laser, and fifth one construction and working of helium neon laser, and some applications of the lasers. What are those? Communication, industry, medicine, military operations. And in this lasers having some advantages and disadvantages of lasers and conclusion. We will discuss one by one. First, introduction of the laser. The word laser is an acronym that stands for light amplification by the stimulated emission of radiation. Here, light is denoted by L, amplification is denoted by A, stimulated is denoted by S, emission is denoted by E, and radiation is denoted by R. So finally we get LASER means laser. So what is the abbreviation of the laser? Light amplification by the stimulated emission of radiation. Next point. Lasers are essentially highly directional, highly intensity, highly monochromatic and highly coherent optical sources. So here highly directional means the divergence is very small. That's why the rays or the waves traveling a long distance. That's why a huge number of applications exist here. So this is highly directional. And second one is highly intensity. Highly intensity means the energy per unit time it's through a or passing through unit normal area. In this lasers constrained in small region of space with small wavelengths but with a greater intensity. Small wavelength but greater intensity, that is highly intense. Third one is highly monochromatic. Here mono means one or single, chromatic means color. Here monochromatic means single color. So highly monochromatic lasers having highly monochromatic, laser light having single color, and they have more intensity, high intensity, and they travel long distance. And fourth one, highly coherent. In this coherent means all the rays having same phase or they travel in same phase, that is coherent. In this coherent basically divided into two types. One is spatial coherence and one is temporal coherence. Okay. Then third point is stimulated emission was postulated by Einstein as early as in 1917. Then after in 1960, a solid state Ruby laser is developed by Maiman on this principle. And next, in 1961, a gas state helium neon laser is developed by Ali Jawan and others in Bell Telephone Laboratory. So these are the introduction part of the lasers. And then basic principles of the laser. Here we will see principles of the lasers is three types. One is absorption, second one is spontaneous emission, third one is stimulated emission. So see these pictures and we will discuss one by one. Here first one, the process of exciting the atom to higher energy level by observing the stimulating incident photon is known as stimulated absorption of radiation. Here one word is there, in that word is exciting. Exciting means what? The particle the process of the transition of the particle is ground level or lower level state to higher level state or excited state, that is nothing but exciting process. And the process of exciting the atoms to higher energy level by observing stimulating incident photon is known as stimulated absorption of radiation. And we will see this picture here. This is ground state or lower state, and this is excited state or higher energy state. In this ground state having some energy E1, particles having some energy E1, in this excited state particles having some energy E2. So we will see this picture. Here we have to assume or we have to consider only one particle in the ground state. And now we have to supply the energy in this ground state of atom. In that electron can be absorbed that energy and automatically the particle is excited. So we will see this picture, the particle excited. That means the particle in the higher energy state or excited state. So this is stimulated absorption of radiation. Here the word stimulated means to giving the energy to that particle. And absorption is takes the energy. So giving the energy is stimulated, takes, that means absorb that energy, that is absorption. So here stimulated absorption is existed. And we will discuss second topic, that is spontaneous emission of radiation. The transition of an excited atom by itself to lower energy level is known as spontaneous emission of radiation. Spontaneous emission of radiation. Here we will see this picture. This is again ground state or lower energy state. This is higher state or exciting state. And in this ground state having some energy E1 and in this excited state having some energy E2. And the particle already existed in the excited state. Already we know that excited state means. And then in this excited state of the particle having some energy, they lost energy in that particle, then automatically fall down to the ground state. Here, in this particle stay in the excited state having some lifetime. So, in average lifetime is 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds. This is depending on the material. So, sometimes it exists 10 to the power of minus 3 seconds. Sometimes it can be exist 10 to the power of minus 11 seconds. After completion of the lifetime of the particle, they compulsory fall down into the ground state. So here we will see this picture. The particle reached in ground state. In this transition, so some energy will be emitted in this particle. In that energy is nothing but a photon energy. Here the transition E2 state to E1 state. That's why here E2 minus E1 is equal to photon existed, that means h nu. Here h is the Planck's constant and nu is the frequency of the wave. So this is known as spontaneous emission of radiation. Here spontaneous means automatically. I am not giving any energy to this particle. Already they existed in excited state. So in that particle they lost the energy. So that's why the particle will move or jump into the lower energy state. So here emission means emitted some radiation. So spontaneously emitted some radiation. This is known as spontaneous emission of radiation. And we will discuss next one. The excited atom, after getting stimulated by the incident photon, transits to lower energy level by emitting photon is known as stimulated emission of radiation. Here, now we will see this picture. This is again ground state. Okay. So, the excited atom after getting stimulated by the incident photon transits to lower energy level by emitting photons is known as stimulated emission of radiation. Here, now we will see this. This is a ground state or lower energy state, and in this ground state having some energy that is denoted by E1, and this is our excited state or higher state. In this excited state having some energy that is denoted by E2. So in this case we have to supply some energy in this particle or atom. Already the particle or the atom existed in excited state only. But before the lifetime you have to supply some energy in that particle. In this excited state having number of particles because they have longer lifetime in that excited state. So we have to supply some energy in that particle. The particle as usually they lost their lifetime or they lost their energy, over the lifetime the particle will enter or jump into the ground state. Here we will see this picture, the particle jumps into ground state. But we have to external supply to energy the particle, they collide with the particle, they release transition in two photons. One is normally this transition it emits one photon, and again we have to incident some energy, external energy, so that is released into another photon. So they have emits two photons here. In these two photons, these are many number of particles is there. So these two photons collide with, for suppose, two particles again, they emits four number of photons. In this four photon, again four particles collide with four particles, they emits 8 number of photons released. So this is the amplification process. So first one photon giving, one photon of energy giving, and two photons are released, and two photons with collide two particles. So four photons are released. In this four photons are collide with another four particles, and 8 photons are released. So here the increasing or modified the amplifier. So this is known as amplifier. So laser means what? Light amplification. Here the rays means light rays, amplified, light amplification. Stimulated, here stimulated means giving the energy. Here externally you have to supply some energy, this is stimulated. And emission means emitted or means radiation. So the light amplification stimulated emission of radiation. This is nothing but a laser, and this is known as stimulated emission of radiation. Okay, then next we will go with next step. Next, kinds of lasers. Among the various kinds of lasers, some important types of lasers are listed below. In these 5 types of lasers are there. First one, solid state laser. Solid state laser is the example of the ruby laser, and gas laser is the example of the CO2 laser or helium neon laser. And third one, liquid laser is the example of the europium chelate. And fourth one, dye laser. Dye laser is the example of the Cormeria dye laser. And fourth one, semiconductor laser. In this semiconductor laser is example of the INP laser. So we will discuss here only ruby laser and helium neon laser. So this is ruby laser. The construction and working of ruby laser. First ruby, here it is ruby. Ruby means what? That is radiant color or pink color. So in this ruby means the combination of Al2O3 and Cr3 plus. That means aluminum oxide is doped with 0.05 percentage of chromium ions. Aluminum oxide is doped with 0.05 percentage of the chromium ions. This is ruby rod, and this combination is ruby crystal here. And again see this diagram. So first this is ruby rod, and this is quartz flash tube and ruby crystal, and this is, there are two ends of these, two ends are there in this ruby rod. One is 100% reflected mirror and second one is 95 reflected mirror, that means less than 100%. And this is a power supply, and this is switch, and this is laser beam, and this is polished aluminum reflecting cylinder. So we will see this picture. First of all, we have to take one active medium. This is our active medium. In that active medium having as usually Al2O3 plus Cr3 plus ions. In this active medium having two ends, one end and second end. One end is covered with, these two ends are covered with the mirrors. So this is M1 mirror and this is M2 mirror. In this M1 mirror having fully reflected, that means 100% partially reflected silver coating, and this is 50% say having silver coating. The 50% not 50%, less than 100% of the coating of the second end. And then this is helical xenon flash tube, and as well as this is a cooling chamber. Okay, now see the process. First we have to take one active medium and they have two ends. In the two ends are covered with the two mirrors, M1 and M2 mirror. One is fully reflected and second one is partially reflected, that means silver coated mirrors they are. Okay, then we are using one helical xenon flash lamp. In this flash lamp is connected with one power supply. So here it is capacitance are using. In this solid state, actually this is solid state, and this is three level process, and by using this ruby we are produce a laser light. In this capacitance we have to use, this is discharge. In this overall system is on state, and this capacitance is off condition. This capacitance is charged. In this entire system is off state. Okay, so on state and off state. When it is on, the capacity is discharged. When it is off, the capacity is charged. So we have to exciting process, that's why we have to supply some energy to the helical xenon flash lamp. So in this ruby rod keeping with helical xenon flash lamp, the system is working. The helical xenon flash lamp is glowing and it emits a white light. In that emit light enter into the ruby rod, but the ruby rod of chromium ions, it can absorb only green light and blue light. Okay, so we will see this picture. Construction in ruby laser, a cylindrical ruby rod made up of aluminum oxide which is doped with 0.5% weight of chromium oxide. Already we know this point. Next, second point. One end of the rod is fully silver, we know, and the other one partially silver, so it acts as an optical resonator. Third one, the rod is surrounded by a glass tube which is in turn is surrounded by the helical flash lamp filled with the xenon glass. So here when we have to supply the energy of the helical flash lamp, that means the capacity already we discussed. Capacitance discharged, that is on condition, on state condition, and capacity is charged, that is off state condition, we discussed earlier. So here we have to supply the energy of helical flash lamp. Then the rod is excited and the rod is observed only two colors. In that blue band and green band is broad bands, and at the same time here it is pumping process is existed. Okay, so through capacitance or through electrical energy passing through helical xenon flash tube, so that is a pumping process. Here existed a pumping process. And then again we will see this picture. when the flash lamp light will be flashed on ruby rod, the chromium ions excited to higher energy state, and after staying for up to 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds, ions get transmitted to the metastable state. And third one, the laser radiation of a wavelength of 6943 angstroms, and laser emission is plus pulsed one. So this is not a continuous continuation process. This is a pulses process. Because what is the reason here behind of these pulses? The reason is we have to supply the electrical energy to the helical xenon flash tube. In that flash lamp emits or illuminated white light. So in that white light enter into the ruby rod. In that ruby having chromium ions. In that chromium ions only observing blue color and green color. Okay, so that's why, and we have to supply energy, the capacitance discharge that is on state, the capacitance charge that is off state. So on and off states, that means the output of the laser is pulses, not a continuation process. For suppose we have to taking helium neon laser, then only the continuation process will be there. But here this is a ruby laser. In this ruby laser is pulsed, the output is pulsed. So working, we will see this working. Here we will see this diagram. This is our ground state, and here the ruby rod only observed two colors, that is one is green color and second one is blue color. In this green color having wavelength 5500 angstroms. So what is the level of the green light? 4F2 level. First suppose we have to assume that. And here 4000 angstroms will observe blue color. So that is 4F1 level. Here in this 4F1 level or 4F2 level, not a metastable levels. Here this is a metastable level. Metastable doublet states. So that's why 2E is the energy of this session. Here in this green light emits or falls on this layer, and blue light emits on this layer, and again the transition, the particle, here this is metastable state. So this is a longer lifetime of the particle here. Here particle is having longer lifetime, and here particle having longer lifetime, and then 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds. After this lifetime, they fall down to the ground state, or they reach to the ground state. In this process, they emit some radiation. So in this radiation is 6943 angstroms, and this one is 6929 angstrom. So 6929 angstroms and 6943 angstroms here. So finally 6900 and 6900. So average is 6900 angstroms they emit. Here 6900 angstroms is the wavelength of the reddened color. So that means ruby color. So this is called, or this is known as ruby laser. But here one disadvantage is also there. What is the disadvantage of the ruby laser? In that active medium of the chromium ions, they collide with other particles. So they gain energy and they collide. So they release the energy, more energy they have to release. So the chamber is collapsed. In that case, that's why we are placing a cooling chamber. In this cooling chamber, they control the heat. So the system will be worked in actively. So this is the laser light, ruby laser, and here they emit pulses. So step by step, so these are one step and these are another step. So they emit the radiation in pulses. It's a form of pulses. And one node point is there. In that node point is here. We will see this picture. This is wait a minute, second diagram. Yes, here we will see this 5500 angstrom and 4400 angstrom. So this is not a smaller energy level, this is a big energy level, that is not correct. So already we know that the total energy is approximately h nu. That means h nu means C by lambda. Here we will see E is directly proportional to 1 by lambda. That means wavelength is increased, then automatically energy will be decreased. And here wavelength is decreased, then automatically energy will be increased. So, but here one point is, remember that this ruby rod only absorbing two colors, not all wavelength colors. So that's why more wavelength having less energy and less wavelength having more energy. So this is our ruby laser or ruby rod. And then next one, construction and working of helium neon laser. So we will discuss helium neon laser here. And helium neon is a gaseous state laser and it is 4-state laser, 4-level system. And by using this helium neon gases, we have to produce laser light. We will see this figure. This is helium neon gas reservoir and anodes, high reflector and glass envelope, laser bore tube and laser output and output coupler and cathode. And again we will see this picture. So we have to construct one active medium. In this active medium having helium and neon gases. Helium and neon gases having 10:1 ratio. Here 10:1 ratio means helium atoms are 10, neon atoms are 1. And so not thinking like that. That is wrong statement. So here we have to choose helium at a pressure of 10 mmHg. And we have to take neon the pressure of 1 mmHg. And for suppose helium atom, we have to take helium atom here 1 mmHg, pressure of 1 mmHg, and we have to take neon atom the pressure of 0.01 mmHg. So here we will clearly see this 10 times of the neon atom. So this is the 10:1 ratio. And again in this active medium surrounded by two mirrors. This is M1 mirror and this is M2 mirror. So M1 mirror is fully reflected mirror, that means 100% silver coating, and M2 mirror is partially reflected, that means half silver plate. And here in this cavity having two ends, in this active medium having two ends. This is Brewster windows, called it as Brewster windows. In this Brewster windows is denoted by BW1 and BW2. This is actually looks like a cavity, working as a cavity. And cavity is nothing but a distance, okay. And here in this active medium, that means helium and neon gas lasers we have to supply in that system and consider in one quartz glass tube. This is our quartz glass tube, cylindrical quartz glass tube. So why we are taking quartz glass? So we will see later. And we have to excited that energies. So that's why we have to supply some energy. In that energy is this. Okay, so electrical energy 2 to 4 kilovolts energy we have to supply in this system, and so then automatically in this helium atoms will be excited states, and then after they fall down to the ground state. In this ground state of neon atoms can be absorbed this energy, and automatically these neon atoms are excited this level, and then after some time taken they fall down to the ground state, again helium atoms absorb and excited. So something like this process so have to seen in this picture. So construction, a helium, first point, a helium neon laser consists of large and narrow discharge tube filled with helium and a neon gases in the ratio of 10:1. Already we will see. We seen this one. The tube is enclosed between fully and partially reflective mirrors, which serves as optically cavity. They work as optically cavity. And third point is the two end windows are set a Brewster's angle. So the two windows are Brewster's windows. So in that case, they existed some angles. In this angles is Brewster angles. That means these case some particles are vibrated like perpendicular direction, some particle vibrated like parallel direction. So that's why that is the existed here angle. So this is angle between existed in this plates Brewster windows. So that is a Brewster angle. And so reflected radiations enter into the tube, become polarized. So these light are polarized light. Okay, so these output also polarized. So these lights are polarized light, and this angle is Brewster angle. Means here partially reflected and fully reflected. So means refraction and reflection are there. Here reflection portion is existed parallel, and refracted is exist a portion of perpendicular lines. So the output will be coming out to the polarized light, and here existed Brewster angle. And working. Helium atoms, after transferring their energies to neon atoms, are excited to 2s and 3s level. The population in these levels is more than those in lower energy levels 2p and 3p. The emission of radiation having wavelength 6328 angstroms is red in color, and it gives continuous emission of radiation. Already earlier we discussed this one. Here we have to construct we have to take helium neon gas. In this helium neon laser having continuous waves. Okay, in ruby laser they gave pulses, but here the continuous emission of process. So here we will see this picture. This is our ground state, and here this is helium atoms and this is neon atoms are existed. Okay, we have to assume like this. So in these atoms having some energy, so we have to supply or having some energy. In that particles are automatically excited. So like this. Here 2,1s and 2,3s are the states of the helium atom, helium levels. Then again after some time taken, compulsory the particles they lost the energy. So the over the completed the lifetime 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds. Then after they enter into the or they fall down into generally other state. So these helium atom they lost the energy and they fall into the ground state. And again here the ground state of neon atom, in this energy they absorbing in this energy. So in that neon atom excited or goes on 3s level. And here it is also some having lifetime 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds. Then after again they fall down into ground state. In this ground state they lost the energy of the neon atom and helium atom they absorb that energy and again they excited into the system. So and this particle also they lost the energy and again they enter into the ground state. And in this ground state of the neon atom they absorb this 2,3s energy and they enter into the or they goes on into the 2s state system. So here so again in this particle they lost the energy and again enter into the fall down into the ground state. And in this energy, and that means neon atom they lost the energy and helium atoms they absorb that energy and they jump into the 2,3s level state. So here this means 2,1s state and 3s state are same, 2,3s state and 2s states are same states, here having same energy. And this process is known as resonance transfer of energy. Here resonance means same. Whatever we have to apply or supply the energy to the ground state of the helium atom and they absorb that energy, they excited to the 2,1s level suppose. And they lost that energy in that state, they enter into the ground state. In that ground state of the neon atom they absorb that energy and again they enter into the 3s level of this state. So here whatever we have to give an energy and they taken and they enter and again they lost the energy and they here helium taken and so enter into the excited state. So here the process is same, the energy levels are same, so that's why this is resonance transfer of energy. And in this case the 3s states and 2s states are metastable states. And here in these states having some particle already existed, some particle at that time in 3p level 2p level they don't have any particles. If in case 3s level and 2s level they don't have any particles, then only existed in 3p state 2p state and 3p level states the particle will be existed. So in this case for suppose here the neon atoms 3s state to fall down into 3p state or jump into 3p state, here some radiation is emitted. What is that radiation? 3.39 micrometer angstrom radiation, micrometer radiation. And here again 3s state to jump into the electron into 2p state. Here some released energy, in that released energy is 1.15 micrometer, and at the same time here 2s to 2p level also jumped into the particles. Okay, so finally here the pairs of 3s transition to 3p transition and 3s transition to 2p transition 3s transition to 2p transition and 2s transition to 2p transition. So 3 transitions are existed here. Okay, so the radiation emitted wavelength is 3.39 micrometer and 6328 angstroms and 1.15 micrometer they are released or emitted that radiations. So here and so after some time taken, the energies enter into the oneness state. In that oneness state, having some lifetime, in that lifetime is completed, then after automatically they enter into the ground state. This is our process. So here the collide with the quartz chamber, that means here we will see this picture. So whenever we have to given the energy of helium atom, in that helium is absorbing that energy and they enter into the excited state, first one, and then helium atom they lost the energy, then after they falling down to ground state. At that time, in that ground state, the neon atom to ready to that absorb the energy, and then after the neon atom also excited in that 3p level state. So same process here, neon atom having some lifetime, in that lifetime is completed, then after automatically they fall in the ground state. Again same process repeated, then helium atom this energy can be absorbed and excited, and so this process is a routine process. That's why this is called resonance. Already we know that this is called a resonance. So here whenever helium atoms or neon atoms placed in the ground state, that means jumped into the ground state, that means it having a rest position. So rest position means there is no energy at that state. That means they collide with the walls of the quartz tube. So the collision, whenever they get ground state of atoms, zero energy level, so they get collide with the walls of this quartz glass. And here we will observe, we see this picture. This is 3.39 angstrom micrometer. Then this is 6328 angstroms. Here 1.15 micrometers. So these are all are different wavelengths. But laser means only single one wavelength. Here 3.39 is micro wavelength and 1.15 is also a micro wavelength. That means a very smaller range of wavelengths. Here the maximum wavelength is what? 6398 angstroms is the maximum wavelength. So we remove these two wavelengths. So that's why we are using quartz tube. In that quartz tube is absorb these two small wavelengths. So by using quartz tube, these two smaller wavelengths are removed. So finally we get 6328 angstroms of the light. Here finally we have to get only one wavelength, that is single wavelength. 6328 angstroms is the one wavelength. So that is called ruby laser. Sorry, that is called laser light. So in this two small wavelengths, observing the quartz tube, by using the quartz tube, they are small wavelengths, they have to observe that. Okay, so and again And this is Brewster angle and Brewster windows, all these things you know that, and this is covered with shield. Okay, so and this is a polarized light, and here this is a continuation process. Single wavelength we will finally the output is single wavelength, that is 6398 angstroms, something like that, and here this is a unpolarized light, and here these are the Brewster angles are existed, and in this chamber, complete chamber covered with a shield. So in that shield is Brewster shield. So finally this is ruby laser. Okay, ruby laser means what? Whenever helium atom is excited, they gave some energy and they excited to higher energy state, and they enter into the they lost the energy and jump into the ground state, and in that case already the neon atom is existed. In that neon atom is absorbing that energy, and again neon atom is excited to the higher energy state, and then in that case neon atom they lost the energy and they jump to the ground state, and the process is a repeated process, that is resonance process. So this is ruby laser. Okay, and finally this is a continuation process, not a pulses. Okay, and then applications of lasers. Lasers in communication. In optical fiber communication, laser bandwidth is very high compared to the radio and microwave communications. As it has large bandwidth, it is a large bandwidth, and more amount of data can be sent and more channel can be simultaneously transmitted, and lasers are used in other communications. Nowadays lasers are very playing very crucial role and very important thing. Next application, lasers in industry. Lasers can be used to blast the holes, diamonds and hard steel, and lasers can cut, drill, weld, remove metal from the surfaces, and perform these operations even at surface inaccessible by mechanical methods. And lasers range finder is used to measure distance to making maps by surveyor. And lasers in medical science. Argon and CO2 lasers are used in treatment of liver and lungs. New kinds of laser surgery that uses molecules to stitch together wounds. CO2 laser is particularly used in spinal and brain tumor excision and kidney stone excision. Lasers are used in the treatment of glaucoma. So here lasers in medical. So nowadays each and every operations by using lasers only. So means plastic surgery and cancer treatments, cancer therapies and scanning. So everything in nowadays we are heavily using these lasers. The plus advantage is without blood the operation is success. So this is the laser advantage. And laser used in eye treatment. So mostly you have to use laser in eye treatments especially. So this is a very sensitive one, that's why. So the laser can also repair a detached retina, one that has broken loose from the right part of the eyeball. The laser is very useful in removing excitation blood vessels that can form on the retina. The thin light sensitive membranes at the back of the eyeball. So this is the most important thing in the lasers treatment. So this is the picture of eye. And lasers in military. A laser beam can be bounced off a target such as enemy airplane or ship to determine its distance and speed. So we have to once fix the target, the light. So already we know very well the light is a single wavelength and they travel in very longer distance. So it is easy to the militaries. So and the laser can serve as a war weapon, and high energy lasers are being employed to destroy enemy aircraft and missiles. So they are using military also. And advantage of lasers: lasers are used to cut glass and drill holes in ceramics. Lasers are used for bloodless surgeries. Already we told that. So lasers are used for bloodless surgeries and in destroying kidney stones and gallstones. Lasers are used to study the internal structure of microorganisms and cells. Lasers are used in air pollution to estimate the size of dust particle. So by using this laser light, so we have to find the dust particles also. So for example, we have to take one glass and fill that water and smash the chalk piece or the dust particles in that fill with the glass. Then we fall into the laser light. Is clearly we have to see and observe that one. So this is the advantage of the lasers. These are the advantages. And here disadvantages of the lasers. Lasers are known as to be dangerous to the atmosphere and health. Yes, laser lights are very dangerous, very harmful. And laser printers are very costly and compared to other printers. When compared to other printers, this is little bit costly. And when running the laser machines, a small amount of ozone and generated, which can damage the organized layers. As nowadays we are using mobile phones, so mobile phones are emitting also radiation. So in that radiation we are damaged with the ear system and brain and nervous system. So something like this is very harmful, but so we have to avoid this dangers. And some laser particles are also known to emit particles that may cause respiratory diseases. So these are the disadvantages of the lasers. And conclusion: finally I conclude that laser plays a crucial role in the modern world. Therefore, laser play an pivotal role in the present technical world. So, finally, lasers are very useful to us nowadays, but at the same time, it is little bit dangerous. So that's why we have to use properly. So, and this is very crucial role plays in nowadays system. Okay, so this is the lasers system. So finally, laser means light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation, that is lasers. And any queries? Thank you. And in this COVID pandemic situation, so we are staying in home only. So please stay home and stay safe. Thank you.